Use the other one as a model. And it's hard to get them so perfect.
I took Bobbitt's sign,
Yeah,
so that's actually pretty good.
yeah.
That's pretty round. I'll make it nice for you.
I'm gonna do the painting on them. And then after I get those up, then I'll let John see it. From then on
All right,
out.
I'll get you some.
Let me just double check real quick. Tomorrow.
No.
Yeah, no, I just have a meeting, but I can do it.
Just put these in front of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're easy to eat. I mean,
What's your favorite one, the pineapple?
Pineapple and red are the two I seem to go after all the time.
pineapple, apple.
I can take the
Green watermelon.
That's what I mean, the green one, I said apple. That's watermelon, the green one? Or is
I
that-
assume that was lime, so maybe I'll have to try that.
Oh, it's they're good. No, it's not lime.
They do have people like color something green, everyone thinks it's lime, and it'll be like strawberry.
Yeah, it's true. Kiwi.
That's because the colors are all natural.
Yeah.
We're poisoning ourselves with all these artificial.
Eat your carrot.
Maybe I'll take it at some point.
That's a real orange.
3:30.
Yeah, that's why
yeah.
you chose.
Okay, hey, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, it's 3:30, I'm gonna call the meeting to order, roll call, Brian?
Here.
Kyle?
Here?
Smith is present. First order of business, I'm just gonna move it around, is, do you wanna just talk real quick,
I mean, I can't, yeah, I mean, so.
about the appointment? I mean, about just a little process with the meeting?
I can do
And then
that, I
I'll
can do
just-
that. So basically, you know, with the transfer, Phil
Phil
Valari,
Valari, yeah.
18 Ridge Road, Ossipee. So basically, with the transfer of the corridor to the Department of Natural Cultural Resources, we're now going to have a series of committee meetings starting on the 19th. I've reserved the Freight House, and what they need is there's going to be 16 committee members. Fort is one of them, so I'm going to be the representing Fort. And then we need from the town of Ossipee, we're going to need one from Madison and one from Tamworth. We need a selectman and a designee.
Right.
And so, you know, I obviously talked to
Yep.
Jonathan, and you can't do it, but I talked to Kyle. He's willing to,
Be good, be good.
I have so much spare time that I was glad to step up.
that's what I thought.
It's only once a month.
Yeah, it is, yeah. And then Chris has offered, if, you know, if the town wants that, Chris has offered to be
Yep.
the town designee.
Okay, great.
So I guess all we need, you should have got a letter. Did you get the letter from,
I don't think,
or an email from Dancer?
I believe so. So yeah.
I mean, I can send you another copy if it's kind of lost in the emails.
so this is gonna be one meeting a month for the next 13 months, is what I remember?
Well, that's what they say. We're
Yeah.
gonna try to short circuit
Yeah,
this
we'll
because,
speed it up.
yeah, it's a very painful process, and
Yeah.
they didn't want to seem to move very fast.
We didn't know this when I did the bill.
No kidding. I don't think anybody did. I mean, you know, we're ready to tear it up and
Yeah.
start working.
Yeah,
Phil,
But
will it always be at always over here, or are they
I
gonna rotate
believe
around?
it's always going to be at the Freight House.
Okay.
That was something that I talked to
Good.
Craig Rennie, who's the superintendent, and he agreed. And so I reserved it. It's 10 o'clock. The 19th is the first meeting, and I think that's where they're going to be.
It's already on my calendar.
Yeah, on it every month.
I don't have to appoint Phil, because we have an agenda for Phil. It's actually, I
Yeah.
gotta appoint Chris.
Chris and
Kyle.
My
yeah.
mistake.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
And then we just need to send a letter or an email back to, I think it's
Yeah, I'll take care of
Alexis, and just say these are the two designees from
that. You got it.
the town.
Already written down.
So I'll make a motion to, you guys have any questions before I make a motion?
No.
I'll make a motion to appoint Kyle as the selectman's rep to the DNCR committee and Chris Elliott as the alternate.
Unless you want to fight Kyle, but.
No, they love to be called dancer, by the way.
Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
the ladies
Yeah.
that work there.
So do I have a second on that motion?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Good.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you for doing it.
All right,
Thanks, gentlemen.
Cheers, guys.
thanks.
Okay, we're gonna have two non-public sessions. First one's gonna be under C, second one under E. So I make a motion to go into non-public for session 1, RSA 91A32C, and session 2, RSA 91A32E. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call, Brian?
Yes.
Kyle?
Yes.
Smith is yes.
3:33.
Hey, Chief. Good, you?
Good.
Kelly coming up, or you have to tell her?
I told her 3:30, but
Okay.
I'll double check.
got my
I
text
paid
back?
for a goddamn.
Yeah, I mean, technically.
Have you ever read the thing on it? Yeah. I mean, basically, it's anybody who goes to cut down trees and fire, anybody.
Eli, look at this, juice and justice people, like,
Charlie, it's right there.
they'd be in a good position to.
Stepped outside, phone call.
Well, I saw that coming. Should've went for it.
Hey, you've been all on.
Like, it wasn't even remotely close.
Did you watch the hearing? Did you watch?
Oh, yeah, I know.
Did I watch it? No, I didn't watch it.
I mean, good story on the adult ed.
Oh, no, I know the
Read the
audio.
law, it's such a travesty, and I appreciate the good coverage. You know, she has the graduation tonight.
I don't care. I'm just saying.
You've covered it in the past, so I didn't know if you were,
There's no, however you want.
yeah, they're cutting the shit out of it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I slipped my mind.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean,
at,
it's just-
it starts at 6 right down the hill, so,
It's all camps.
thought I mentioned it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sir.
Okay, it's 4:15, I'm going to reopen the public meeting. I'm going to make a motion to reopen the public meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Make a motion to seal the non-public minutes of session 1 and session 2. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Will you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to open to the first public input. Anything today?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Yes, Jonathan, nice haircut. Like you
Thank you.
finally got rid of it.
I'm back to
That's
normal.
good. So, I don't even know how to bring this up, but can somebody tell me what happened with this court case?
What court?
With Stephen Brown?
Yep, so we finally were able to measure his structure. It was at 408 square feet, which has a limit in the zoning ordinance of 400 square feet by RV definition. I have since now issued a new notice of violation for a manufactured home. Manufactured homes required to be installed under 205D. You need a license to install a manufactured home. You also need a certificate of occupancy, you need a septic, all the normal practices that occur in the town of Ossipee for anyone to live on a parcel of land in Ossipee.
Okay.
Simple as that.
So the whole court proceeding that happened because
We withdrew the case because we were finally able to measure. We were never allowed to go measure before.
Oh,
The court gave us permission to go measure, we went and measured, it was 8 square feet larger than the definition in the zoning ordinance.
okay, gotcha.
So now it opens up, okay, if you read the definition for manufactured home, 320 square feet or larger, has to be HUD approved,
Right.
yada, yada,
I
yada.
remember going through all
You
that.
gotta have a license to install it, you gotta have a certain type of mostly everyone does it on a slab, there's a
So we're
slab
on to
requirement.
another checklist of, you gotta do this,
Correct.
this, and this. Okay.
Just like everybody does through the building and zoning law, it starts with a building permit, zoning compliance.
All right, because the way I understood it was, there was a total win, and you guys
No.
lost, and there was a perjury on the stand, and
No.
all of this stuff happened, and I would like to know if any of this stuff is true.
Well, if you,
Because, you know, this grapevine is,
of course, it's unfortunate, people have their own truth and then there's reality.
so I'm asking.
And I'm glad you asked.
Okay, so really, it's just, you got permission from the court to
Yep.
go and measure, he was 8 square feet bigger.
Correct.
Okay, it's
By
a
the-
slight problem, but I don't know if I would, it's a slight problem. Is it fixable?
Well, it
Can
is.
you
Now,
lose the
now,
8 square feet?
now he has to go through the process like everybody else,
Yes.
get your building permit, comply with the HUD requirements, comply with 205D.
Right.
Or have to have a license to install,
Got it.
the slab, it's gotta be anchored, just like every other
Just like
manufactured
any,
home.
yeah, okay, just like any other.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
It's the
Okay.
process 99.9% of the people have to follow.
Okay, well, yeah.
Then you have, then you have that 0.1%.
settles that, for
Then you have
me.
the 0.1% that just says it doesn't apply.
Gotcha.
Thank you for the question, Val.
No, I needed to know.
Sure.
It's been bugging me.
Good, Dan.
Students here, Comeau son, piggybacking on Dallas, like,
Yeah.
is there like an environmental hazard going on? Is anything, my understanding is he built something that may may or may not work? Or do we have any idea?
So, part of this initial thing, well, there was a homemade cesspool put in the ground.
Yeah,
And I could talk about this because this has all been testified in court. We hired an expert who examined and evaluated the system. It was a cesspool, homemade, the way they did it years ago, put in the ground, surrounded by rock, pipe going out to no man's land. Can't do that. That's been done away since the 70s. Now, he got a certificate of, a construction plan to install a septic system. You cannot use that system until you get operational approval. So the way it works is you get the plan designed by a licensed designer. The system gets installed. Then you have to have the state come out and evaluate it and approve it for operation. They issue what they call a certificate of operation. We do not issue a certificate of occupancy until we get that certificate of operation for the septic system. You cannot use it until you have an operational approval from the state.
but he's not using the original system anymore.
Original system was disconnected. That was part of our inspection going back in January. The court ordered us to go inspect. He cut it and disconnected.
And so now it's sort of, its status of what it's doing is kind of unclear?
Yep. There's no operational approval at that site. Zero.
And so you don't know if it's getting into the ground or,
That's going to be part of this next process to get compliance with the town and state law.
and then so he's got whatever he's got right now, and he would have to get approval, like, which approvals does he go through first? Does he go through the town first? Does he actually
So
get
the
permit?
process for anyone that comes to the building and zoning offices, usually it's a conversation, what do I need to do for the process? And it usually starts with the zoning review and then i.e. a building permit application. That's when you produce all your documents that are required to begin the process of hopefully leading to a certificate of occupancy, which has a lot of steps along the way before you get a certificate of occupancy, which includes the fire department. We always reach out to the chief and say, we're going to do a CO walkthrough, and they always do their walkthrough. So there's multiple steps to get to that CO. And part of them is the septic operational approval from DES.
And so this whole thing kind of starts back over again?
It's the process.
And so does this go immediately to court, or does he just,
Nope.
he just has to work with
So
you?
the new notice of violation says you have 30 days, actually, I think I drafted it till July 1st or 2nd. Actually, do you have a copy? I think I did July 1st to get a building permit application.
And even though he started building?
July 2nd.
Okay, so even though he started building whatever he built, he can get kind of a retroactive building permit?
We do retroactive permits all the time. The whole goal is to get you to where you're compliant with the law. It's not about retribution or penalizing, it's about becoming compliant. So people come in, oh, I built the deck, I need to get a permit, I didn't know I needed one. Give you the permit, we do the inspections, everybody's happy. So it's the same thing, get your building permit, go through the process, follow all the inspections and the requirements, get your CO, and everybody's happy. It's really that simple.
If you live next door to them, you'd want that too.
Yeah, especially with a septic system, that your well, all groundwater is interconnected, someone's stuff's going in the ground like it's not supposed to, and your well is downstream, you have a shallow well, now you're getting a shallow well that's contaminated.
Is there like, I don't know, Kyle, do you live near him?
No.
No, but like, is there any testing to make sure it's not drifting off towards?
Well, so septic systems have to be installed, I think 4 or 6 feet above seasonal high water, and that's why they do test pits, to ensure that how deep it can go, if there's adequate distance between the groundwater and where the system goes. And in testimony in court, that's the old cesspool was in the groundwater. That was a fact.
So there's a good chance that it could be polluting, or we?
The old system, the new system, no. The new system, no, but it's not approved. There's no operational approval.
There's no operational approval, meaning we can't say for sure whether it's safe or working or not.
I can't comment on something. All I have is a plan for construction. That's all it is an idea that this is where it has to go, this is how it has to be installed, and then the state comes and inspects it and gives it the operation saying it's followed the plan.
Okay, so we don't know if it's followed the plan or not?
Correct.
All right, great, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other? Seeing none, I'm going to close public input. Go on to, actually, let me do the bids first, because we have someone waiting here. We have 2 bids for paving, both sealed, one's from Continental, one's from Allstate. Get this out of the way. So this is from Allstate, from Richmond, Maine, multiple pages. I'm not gonna read all the details, you can look at it and review it afterward, but the total amount is $344,964.60. This is for Granite Road and Old Route 28 and part of Annie Nichols. Or is it all of Annie Nichols?
Just
No, it's just a short shim.
Okay, just short chip, okay, so 344,964.60 for Allstate. Next one is from Continental Paving. Continental Paving for the same, let's see, this is $378,910 for the same bid. So Allstate is quite a bit lower. Do you want to review these real quick, or do you know?
No, but with paving budget, with what we got awarded at town meeting, I'm gonna have to work with the lower bid was Allstate.
Allstate
If
by-
the board votes to go with Allstate, I'm gonna have to work with them because we are gonna have to add roads to that, and we'll go off that per ton price.
Okay.
Because what was it, 340?
340, well, I'm gonna round up 345, and I'm gonna round up for them because it's right there, 379.
So we're roughly 260,000 short of what we have for a budget. So we probably could go to the next road on the list and work on that.
Okay, so
I'll have to work with both.
do you need this, you understand the dimensions of these bids? Do you need to review them before or you're ready?
The dimensions should be exactly the same because they were put out in the RFP. With all,
So are you confident, or you need to review these? Because you're the public works guy.
I can review them, but you can vote on it because I know.
Okay. Well, obviously, we're gonna go with the lower bid because they meet the same requirements. So Allstate is $344,964.60. I make a motion to award it to Allstate Construction, Inc. from Richmond, Maine.
Second?
Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Aye. I'm gonna give these to you, TJ.
Charlie's actually here tonight, so you and I are gonna have to work together to go find more.
No problem.
Here.
There's plenty that needs it.
What?
Clerical bid?
Yeah, go to your bid.
I'll give you a call.
Next week.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got 5 requests for clerical abatements. The first is for map 73, lot 109, sub 40, on 130 Gretchen Road. And the amount of the abatement would be $158 plus interest. The second is for map 73, lot 109, sub 40, also 130 Gretchen Road. It'd be $181.34 plus interest. The third is for map 104, lot 14004, sub 002, at 1 Terrace Pines. The amount, the abatement would be $120 plus interest. Fourth is map 29, lot 001, sub 302 at 110 Nichols Road, be $43.08 plus interest. And the last is at map 130, lot 12, sub 11A, 700 Route 16. The amount of the abatement would be $123 plus interest. I'd like to make a motion that we approve all 5 of these clerical abatements.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Is that all you have? Brian, you have 2 intent to
Yeah.
cuts, right?
I have a notice of intent to cut wood or timber. The first one is map 272, lot 53 and 54. It's to cut 40 on 40 acres on Browns Ridge Road. The second is lot 260, map 260, lot 27. It's on Granite Road, 15-acre lot, to cut 10. I make a motion to approve both these intents to cut.
All those in favor? Aye. I have a warrant here for tax map 73, lot 19, sub 40, 130 Gretchen Road, in the amount of $158. This is the new correct owner of the campsite. Send them a bill. Make a motion to approve this.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Got a water sewer warrant in the amount of $40. It's for map 95, lot 13, 3, Route 16B, turn the water on for $40. Make a motion to approve that.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. I got the meeting minutes from Friday, May 16th, 2025. Make a motion to approve these.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. TJ, want to hit the pump real quick?
Yep, so, earlier this week, we lost pressure going to our holding tank up on Valley Road. Found out that our pump had gone in well 2, or is going, we don't have a lot of pressure on it. And it's kind of like your timing belt in the car, when you change out, you change your water pump. Well, there's a motor in there and the pump, and we want to change both of them. I've called them to start the work. We did the other one last year, 2-piece project. We did the motor, then the pump. This one we're gonna do both, but this is the quote. They're kind of the game in town. They've worked on them. Should get us another 15, 20 years, hopefully. But the board has reviewed it.
The last pump lasted, did you say 19 years?
I'd have to talk to Jimmy, but I think it was right around there.
Yeah. So it's to replace the pump. We have 2 pumps in the water system. We're only operating on one. We need to get this thing up and running. And this is going to come out of the CRF. So the amount is $18,965. I'll make a motion to approve this pump replacement and authorize TJ to conduct the transaction.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor? Aye. We don't have to sign this. We already.
It's already,
Yeah.
kind of like a
You
situation.
want this back or is this for us?
Nope, that's yours, that's your copy. Then the next thing I'll be done is we have a huge influx of trash at the transfer station, like there's a lot of people coming in for whatever reason. It's springtime, I know that, but it's more than the last 5 years. Right now, you can get a temporary 14-day pass for $2. The lead operator over there came to me, said that he was told that it is the biggest campground in the town, has got rid of their dumpsters. So you are gonna see a major influx of those 2-day passes, and $2, I don't know what the board thinks about that, but $2 is,
Yeah, $2 is
it's gonna
something
hurt the residents of the town.
Yeah, that's a 1980 price. We're gonna have to have a public hearing to be able to raise that, so. We can, right, I mean, what do you think for a value? 20 bucks?
I've called around $10, well, our stickers are only $20 a year,
Right.
so I think $10 is, if you can get rid of your trash for a weekend, if you've partied all weekend, I think $10 is pretty
Okay.
cheap.
But, so we'll, for the next hearing, for the next meeting, we'll set a hearing to adjust that fee. Gives us plenty of time to post it. And we'll, unless the board has a different opinion of it, and,
I don't know if there's any
We'll
discussion,
try.
what the other board members think, but
Yeah,
$10 is, in my opinion, is.
right, I mean,
Still
we're
a
not,
good deal.
that's not a number installed at the hearing. We can, if something comes up, we have a different view at the hearing, that's the day for it.
Yep.
So, all right, great, good. Second public input. Okay, Joe.
I got 2 questions.
Sure, good.
If I could touch on the dump number for a minute?
Yep.
Why not just do annual passes, period? And then you'll get the $20 from the group, and then if they come up here more than once, then.
Oh, you're saying an annual pass for
For everybody.
Well, that's-
everybody?
It's 40 for 2 years, so if someone comes up just for the weekend,
Right, so you do have a lot of short-term rentals, people come up just once, they'll come
Yeah.
up for a week or a
Yeah.
weekend, or
Then why just,
campground, they come in and they rent for the week.
yeah, but I think I might do it maybe a year pass for the person at $20 instead of, whatever, I don't
We
know.
could, well, that's, we
That's
could
just
do-
something to think about.
You could do an optional where you have, it's not a bad idea, where you have, if you're just a week, you get your temporary pass, but if you're someone who's a recurring visitor, then you can get your annual.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it would just hit that $20 for that moment.
Yeah.
And it would help to offset the operation of the dump potentially, you know?
Yeah,
We do get a lot of pushback on the cost of the passes already from folks. In talking to the folks that work at the transfer station, they catch a lot of flack about the fact that it's $40 for 2 years already.
Yeah,
So I
but-
think that would increase the burden on them to jack it up to 20 for a short-term person.
But he's saying it's for a whole
Well,
year.
no, this would just be for the visitors
Yeah,
who want the temporary pass. It would be $20, but give it to them for the year.
yeah. Rather than 2 weeks, rather than 14
You know what I
days.
mean? Just do away with the 2-week thing, just have it a year or 2 years.
Oh, we could talk about that.
Yeah, anyways,
We're
that's
gonna
just my
have to,
suggestion.
Yeah, we'll talk about it at the hearing.
And then if I could,
Sure.
the motor that you're talking about for the thing, is that a big electric motor? There's a guy who we use to rebuild our motor who's over in Laconia. Great job. And he does it for a ton of other companies too. So,
This is submersible? This is submersible down in the well.
he rebuilds anything.
Okay, can you give that information,
absolutely,
share
I
it?
think it's the same guy that did our air compressor
Oh,
motor.
it is?
Yeah, but you gotta have the new pump because you can't just take that one out, rebuild it. You could put the out one in there, so you gotta buy a new pump anyway.
But if it's not working now, it's not working?
It's working, but not.
Oh, it's working.
Oh, if it stopped working, we really don't.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Because it only took him like 2 weeks to
So
go out.
so here's an
Couldn't go 2
idea,
weeks.
good thinking. Maybe have that rebuilt if it's possible, and have it as a spare, so when it goes down, you can
You're gonna
swap.
have to let me talk to him too, because I
Yeah.
believe Mayor gives you quite a core on it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, that-
obviously they
yeah,
probably
so-
rebuild all of them, but
That would
Yeah,
change the 19,000 a month.
there's more I'd have to look into,
Yeah.
but this was kind of an emergency situation.
No,
You
I know,
gotta have-
yeah.
You're just gonna put strain on that other pump and you're not gonna have.
No, if
water
the other
levels.
pump goes, we have no water, yeah.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Joe?
Not for now, no, thank you.
Good, Dan.
Just a question, what is the benefit of having a pass for the dump? I can see it for commercial haulers, but if you're a residential, like everybody uses, essentially everybody probably uses the dump.
No, they don't. A lot of people have dumpsters. I had garbage service for about 7 years, never used a transfer station. So the idea of a pass is you have a little skin in the game because you're bringing your garbage, and you can bring all your unlimited household garbage for $20 a year right now. Think about that.
That's why it's always been strange to me personally to hear people complain about
Yeah.
that, because when you have to pay for your own trash pickup
Yep.
or a dumpster, it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I guess what I'm saying is, I would think that, like for my town, it's just that, I think it just comes with your driver's, get your car renewed and you do the sticker. I don't think it's anything extra, but
So we only take
Your-
in,
Your town, when you go dump a load of something in the back of the truck, you're getting priced by volume and you're paying way more than that $20 a year. And in your town, because I'm
This is
from
your
that
town,
town,
yeah.
yeah, that your budget's almost as big as the one here and you have about a quarter of the amount of material go through.
But it just strikes me as a left pocket, right pocket thing.
not really, because that budget's, I'm gonna give round numbers, is 600,000. We bring in about 300,000 in revenue with fees. So it's already subsidized by general taxation by people who don't even use it already by $300,000. So if you don't charge that $20 at least a year to those that use it, now you're fully subsidizing their trash dumping.
Yeah, I get the idea of you using to pay for it. I think that's generally a good idea, but it seemed like probably for the vast majority of people in the town, I would have assumed use the transfer station.
No, a large percent of people, you go drive around, they all have dumpsters, garbage service, commercial has dumpsters, so it's,
But it seemed like, when you have the administration and the gathering and counting, like, would that end up, costing more than if it was
No.
sold into the...
because the stickers are, it's a every 2 year sticker, it's not a big deal. We sell how many stickers a year?
I can't.
5,000?
Change.
No, nothing like that.
I
It's
thought
not
it was,
600 or 800, something like,
no, dump stickers?
the amount of them?
Yeah,
It's not as much as you would think.
I thought it was in the thousands between all the second homeowners, because they can buy them, second homeowners. No?
No.
Okay, so I'm mistaken, I thought it was more than that, but whatever.
I know Bonnie's really good at checking.
Yeah. You had something, Joe?
No, this is just my thought. I've always thought that out of everything in this whole town, the dump should support itself in the fees that it collects.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I'm
it
of the
should.
same mindset, you
It
usually
should be
pay
a
for it.
zero.
And we've increased the fees a couple of times over the years, but there's that balancing act between, I get
Yeah,
it.
because if everybody had to have trash pickup,
I know,
they'd be
Way
way,
more.
paying way
I
more.
know, I I guess that I paid trash pickup for 7 years.
Well, it's like water and sewer have to pay for themselves.
Right.
You use it, you pay for it. If you don't.
Right, water and sewer by law are required to pay for themselves. Transfer station, not a law, but the selectmen could put policies in to cover it.
We have a
I
happy
don't-
medium right now.
I know, I get it.
Your revenue's about half of it. If you go anymore, like he said, they're gonna hear it a lot more. If you need to go there on the weekend, if you've never been there, you'll see, it's really busy.
I think we get an abundance of trash from other states, second homeowners here. I think that's a big factor, but you can't prove it. We have so much trash coming in, it's mind-boggling. Anyway, we beat that to death. All right, I'm gonna close the public input, and I am gonna adjourn. It's 4:40, and I'm gonna open the public hearing as required by RSA 547:3D. So this is relative to 15 Multonville Road. So out of an abundance of caution, we're holding a side-prey hearing with the court. So we have to petition the attorney to file. This is to ensure that nobody files what's the word for silly? I want to use a fancier word.
Frivolous.
A frivolous motion down the road to challenge anything we're doing there. So obviously, we've been held up with frivolous court motions for the past year. That's all done now. So now that that's all done, this is the final step, which is this hearing to demolish. And once this is done, then we move on and improve the park for everybody. So now I'm going to open, now that everybody knows, I'm going to open it up to the hearing for public comment.
And now I know what 15 Molten Road is, okay, what they're hearing about.
Yes.
And I'll just be straight, I'm not looking to go against you on what you're doing. I don't think this is a hearing.
Okay.
Because to hold a hearing, you have to, there wasn't any information about what you're talking about. It was just that CIS whatever thing, the side thing.
Yep.
There was nothing listed. If you look under what a hearing is, you're supposed to, you don't have to list everything about it, but you're supposed to list minor details about it.
Okay.
There wasn't anything in there about that.
You're not correct. This is following the statute. I'm not going to debate it with you, so thank you for your input. Any other public input on this?
Yeah, sure, I'll ask a question. No, Dallas, Dallas.
What's the statute?
RSA 547:3D.
So,
Okay, Dallas.
I tend to kind of agree with him. I asked the same question when I saw, what are we having a hearing for? We didn't know, nobody knew what this hearing was for. It's obviously just to decide whether or not we're going to go further into court. Is that what you're saying here?
No, it's-
What is this hearing actually for?
It's for the town attorney to petition the court
Right.
for the side-prey hearing, which is because that property was purchased by the town at full value, but it was also given to the town, I don't want to say it, I guess for a charitable purpose. But the fact that we paid full price kind of diminishes the charitable purchase. So this is out of an abundance of caution, we're filing the side-prey, which is the final process to demolish the building.
Okay, isn't that, it's not for a sale?
No.
Or anything like
Nope.
that? The town's still gonna
This is
hold on to the property?
correct, this has nothing to do,
So it's just basically to allow the attorney to go see the judge
yep,
and speak to, we want to turn this over. Well, I'm tempted to believe this isn't a hearing, but
That's fine.
that will be a hearing. That he's going to have to
No,
go.
he's gonna
go in front of the judge.
he's gonna go to a courtroom.
Is anybody gonna be able to be there to
I don't know.
speak to the other side?
It's publicly posted, it's gonna be publicly noted, as the courts
Okay,
do.
okay.
The court process has nothing to
But
do
it'll
with
be
us.
in the court process and not in the selectmen's.
It has nothing to do with us, that's the court superior.
I guess that's where I'm losing you. You're
Okay.
taking it out of your hands and you're putting it in their hands saying, you
Not
make
out of
the
our
decision.
hands, this is the process.
Yeah, but but you want them to make a decision.
This is the process, correct.
Right.
Read the RSA. This
Oh,
is
no,
the
I have
process.
it.
So I have the
Yeah.
RSA's right
Yeah.
here. May I?
What do you, is this
So I have
about?
RSA 547.3.
Yep.
D as in dog.
Correct.
That tells you about the side press doctrine and how that operates.
Correct.
But in a hearing, you now have to go to RSA, and I would,
Joe, I'm gonna interrupt you.
yeah,
If you read 2 at the end, it talks about the municipality shall hold at least one public hearing with no less than 14 days' notice.
correct.
Public hearings are not the same, depending upon the process you're following, they're not governed by what you're reading.
Yes.
For example, we had that hearing with Officer Blackwood. There's no posting requirement for days. So the hearing process has to be prescribed in the RSA that you're referring to.
There's actually different RSAs for
Correct.
hearings, there's a 10 and a 14 day, which doesn't include the posting or
But those RSAs that you're referring to don't apply to this, Joe. You're
this
mixing.
comes under planning board, doesn't it? You have to notify the planning
No,
board
it has
about
nothing to
this?
do with the planning board.
No, I understand it doesn't have it, but in order to do this process, you have to go in front of the planning
No, it
board.
has nothing to do with the planning board. It does not have to go to the planning board. The RSA is right here, Joe.
No, that's the side press.
That's what we're doing.
No, you're doing the other RSA.
Which is
The
what?
RSA which allows you to demolish, purchase.
We've already
buy.
done that, Joe. We've already done
I
that.
understand.
Joe,
Yep.
4114A, we've already done. The planning board, conservation commission, had the 2 public hearings. We've done all that. That is passed. Don't mix the past with the present. We've
No,
already.
I'm not.
No, so Joe, let me finish. I'm gonna explain it for clarity for the camera.
Perfect.
We've already done that process. This is the final step to continue that. This has nothing to do with the planning board or conservation commission or any other RSA. This is RSA 547:3D. That's all we're talking about. So please don't muddy the waters with other RSAs.
It's talking about a hearing. There are ways to hold a hearing, and there are ways to describe hearings to the public.
Joe,
You didn't describe it correctly.
Joe, we're
You kept it a
following the
secret,
RSA.
okay.
You can have your opinion, but it's not correct. I'm gonna put that to rest because we followed the process. Any other questions on this?
So once you demolish the building, then what?
We're gonna improve the downtown park area.
And for the rail trail and all that, so it's,
For outdoor activity, yes, for the general public.
and it's gonna be, do I recall correctly, it's gonna be a parking lot or something like that?
Improve the park, parking, access, whatever it takes to improve that space down there. That's part of the plan, part of the conversation.
And you're saying that the court case is completely, like, 'cause I know that Lynn and other people were, I think probably primarily Lynn,
Yep,
is filing motion after motion after motion.
correct, and they've all been rejected.
And so what would stop her from filing like another motion? Like, I mean,
You can, remember a long time ago I gave you this quote, you can sue a ham sandwich?
yeah,
Anyone can file it for anything in the court and try to stonewall it.
yeah.
But most of the times, the courts see through it and smack it down.
But I mean, has the court at all, to your knowledge, said no more motions, like it's over?
I don't think courts do that based on the
Yeah, they
last
usually
year and a
don't.
half of nonsense that we've dealt with.
Yeah,
They don't ever say we're not gonna, you make a motion and it gets denied.
They
That's the
usually
process.
deny them without prejudice, which means kind of like you can keep filing them.
Yeah.
They very rarely do with prejudice,
Yeah,
which is.
we haven't seen it.
No. So, anyone can do anything they want, it's their right to file, but it's also the court's obligation to knock it down.
And again, remember that court already awarded the charitable trust unit's recommendation to dissolve the organization
Right.
and declare that Lynn had no legal standing from the beginning,
Right,
so that's
correct,
done.
and that's from the AG's office.
And so, what's your timeline?
I don't know however long this takes, I don't, I mean, hopefully a couple of months, 3 months for the court, I don't know, I mean, courts are slow.
Right, and so, but once, so essentially you'll get a court order and it'll say, okay, now you can demolish the building and then,
It's, yes, once we get that court decision, then we're gonna move forward with what we originally planned down there, correct?
okay. And then, do you have things lined up in terms of a demo company and how much that'll cost? And
No, the highway crew was gonna demo it with dumpsters.
one thing I wanted to ask you guys about, maybe not be the best person, legal budget. Between Mr. Brown and this thing that you got here, like, how is the legal budget doing?
I don't know yet, we don't have year-to-date
Yeah, we're gonna
figures
wait
yet
for-
on it.
Wait for the end of second quarter and do a review.
Because you've had some lengthy ones.
Yep.
Doing it right.
Yeah, people file motions after motions and it costs wasting taxpayer money, rather than just following the process, so.
And not just them, but there are other folks.
Yep. Okay, anything else on the hearing under RSA 547:3D?
I have one more thing.
Go ahead,
I
Dennis.
just want to make sure I'm clear on this.
Sure.
What's the next process here? Is this it for this whole thing?
As far-
Goes to the judge and,
As far as we know, this is the last. Once this is done, we get the court,
and the reason for this is because it was donated.
because it was donated, but we paid full value. That's the ironic part of it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a
That-
donation.
Well, that's exactly, so we're doing this out of an abundance of caution to ensure that no one says, well, I'm gonna challenge that thing a month after we demo it. So we're making sure we're covering all our bases. We
Okay.
try to follow the law.
No, and I just wanna make sure I understand. Sometimes I ask questions just to get it through my head.
Yep.
How much did you buy it for? I'm sorry.
What was it, Matt? Do you remember when we looked it up?
I don't know, there was the 3 parcels, I don't remember what they totaled, but it was within 15 or 20,000 of the assessed value,
Yeah.
so we
It was-
considered it a pretty fair market value.
15, it was
Yes.
about 44,000, I believe.
No, I thought it was
No,
65,000.
Yeah, I believe it was 65 and the assessed
But that might have
value.
been another piece, because I know that part of it was for sale
Yeah.
to the public, and then the.
Yeah, well, they merged, all 3 lots came together, 65,000.
Correct. Yeah, so that might have been for that one.
Yeah,
that
there
one.
wasn't any deal.
No, it wasn't that
It,
deal.
it was the same price anybody else would have.
Right.
That was our argument, but again, an
Right,
abundance
but
of
so
caution.
this is the cleanest path, and that's why we're following it.
To avoid future legal expenses
Yeah.
later.
Yep. To make sure that any challenge after this is gonna be squashed.
And so this meeting right here is the end of it, that's the.
Pretty, yeah, this is it. So I'm gonna, as soon as we're done with the hearing portion, I'm gonna make a motion to request the town attorney to pursue this, and that's gonna be the end of it.
And so what that is another court filing.
Correct.
All right.
Yeah. He's gonna prepare a motion to the court, it's gonna go to court, and that's gonna be the end of it.
I got one more thing.
Go ahead, Dan.
What happens if we say, no, we don't want you to do this?
You don't have any say at the matter.
I
mean,
knew
we've
that was
already,
coming. I already knew that was
we've
coming.
already had the 40
You
to
know,
14
I didn't say
days.
so.
We even had the special town meeting where it was 85% to demolish.
You know, so we don't really need to be here for this.
No, but this is a hearing, just like the hearing next
I know.
week, or 2 weeks, that we're gonna have for
About the $2 fee.
the transfer station for the fees. You don't have to come. It's just-
Right. But we, I mean, even if, it's not gonna change anything if people come out and say, no, we don't wanna do this. It wouldn't have changed anything. It's still gonna happen.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
You mind if I just give you one?
Go ahead, Joe.
Piece? This is just, I know you've heard this before, but this is the truth.
Yeah.
I'm across the street from it. Be very careful about digging in that property. It is filled with oil.
Yeah, well,
It's filled with oil.
the state has no record of that, so,
Absolutely they do.
yeah. Well,
No, you can go on the DOT website.
yeah.
There's.
So let me ask you this question. I'm gonna put a little logic on this. The oil's in the ground is what you're saying, right?
Correct.
So how come it's not a hazard right now?
No, as a matter of fact, I found out about it by accident, about that there was a soil scientist assigned to it from the state. There are test pits, test wells in that park. Some of the original ones were destroyed when they put in the irrigation system. So they put in others more towards the back.
So again, my question
And
stands.
there was a concern, because I spoke with her, she was out there, that when she heard it was going to be a park, she was concerned about children playing on it, because she thought it was going to be a playground.
So let me ask you again, my question, I'm gonna repeat my question.
Yep.
If there's such concern that there's oil and toxins, it's a public park right now that everybody uses and plays on, what's gonna be any different when the building gets demolished?
I don't know what's going on. All I know is that when they were digging over there before it became a park, when I was upstairs in my office, when I had an upstairs office, I couldn't stay in it.
Again,
But I'm telling you, it's there.
Can I-
You can find it,
can I say
but it's
Go
there.
ahead, go ahead.
I've worked with Clean Harbors in New Hampshire DES. If they found oil in the ground, it would not be there right now.
There was no clean harbors on that at all. There was
That's what I'm
a
saying. If
truck,
that was
there was a
tested-
backhoe digging there, taking some dirt out where there was that container, the water separator that they had in the back there. And there's also a known oil flow that flows towards OCC.
If the state knows about it, it would not be there.
Yes.
The state definitely knows about it, and there is
Yeah.
money.
Joe,
I just think we
there was
should
money
tap into
put
the
aside.
oil like Beverly Hillbillies, and maybe that we'll have no tax.
I'm
All right,
telling you
well-
that, I'm just telling you that you're working off of, I don't know where.
All right, but again, I'm gonna.
But it's known.
And
Can
I'm
you
gonna,
show us where it's known?
yeah.
Huh?
Can you show me where it's
I'm
known?
gonna go get it. There was even Martha's name listed about that site on the DOT site.
So you're saying the site is toxic now?
I'm saying the site is most definitely toxic.
So then we shouldn't
They
even have a
didn't do
public
that
park
or
there.
anything what they
The
were
town
supposed to
never
do.
should have bought the land, never should have turned it into a park.
Correct.
Never should have put a gazebo.
Correct.
So then maybe we should just rope it off, fence it off with an 8-foot
No,
high.
you won't have to. because if
Concertina
that
wire
comes
and shut
back
it
that
down.
That's toxin. they will clean it and they'll dig down and they will take all the dirt out and haul it away.
There
Clean
is,
Harbors will-
there is money put us, you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Well, I'm just saying, it's been a park for 20 years, and now all of a sudden it's an issue. That's what I'm, that's
No, you're
where,
looking to dig, you're looking to go down.
why didn't you bring this up 20 years ago when they turned this into a
Everybody
park?
knew about it.
But how come no one did anything about it then? Why all of
People
a sudden?
did.
Why all of a sudden now is it a problem? In 20 years you didn't
Because
say
you're looking
anything.
to do something different, and you're not recognizing that that hazard is there.
But the hazard is there right now, Joe.
Correct.
So then
But
why
you're
are we
looking to
using
do
it as a
more
park?
work there.
Why are we using it as a park?
It's just warning you. I don't know what happened with the soil scientist.
We're gonna move on from this, thank you,
But
Joe.
John, what are we digging?
I don't know, Joe's
We're
just,
not digging
That
anything.
whole place was,
No, but when we tear that down, we're not digging anything.
okay, well, where that building was where the trucks pulled in
Yep.
and hooked up to feed the tanks that were in the back.
I understand all that,
We
but
go
when we
around-
remove the
So there
building,
was oil that, so I don't, it's probably.
Well, Joe, we're not
all over
digging a
the site.
10-foot hole, that building's
No
gonna come
one's
down,
digging
it's gonna get filled and probably paved or grassed over or something. We're not gonna go in there and dig a hole to China.
Have at it.
Well, thank you.
Do whatever you're gonna do.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Damon, I'll let you go one more time
Thank you.
before I move on.
Ed Strick
So-
talked.
So the,
Is that his hand up?
I'm sorry, Ed.
so the rec path thing that you got
Yeah.
going on, it's.
Wait, is this a question about this before?
Well,
we-
yes, 'cause
Okay.
I was saying like it's not too far away,
Yeah.
and isn't the idea that that would be like kind of like a parking or some sort of terminus to
Well,
that?
that's the whole point, to improve it for concerts, farmers markets, public access to a recreational trail, the whole gamut of things. Obviously, this is a long-term plan, nothing happens overnight, but this is trying to envision for the future, improve the downtown area.
Meanwhile, it's dilapidated, it's
Yeah.
potentially a hazard,
Yeah,
and it needs to
the-
go.
the-
And the trail right now, like it converted from DOT to the.
To DNCR, Department of Natural and Cultural
Yeah.
Resources.
And so what does that mean for like hiking this summer and?
Well, that's what they're working on. Matter of fact, we just appointed Kyle to the DNCR working group, and Chris Elliott, excuse me, that they're gonna be meeting over the next several months, discussing the plan moving forward for the rail bed. That's the whole point. DNCR is actually moving it along. It's government, it's slow.
Right. So at some point we'll have like a, some sort of, I guess we can use it now. People can do whatever they.
Well, that's, officially, not really, not until DNCR gives the green light, but people walk it all the time now, but it's not official yet until they run a safety analysis and make sure there's no known hazards or whatever.
Okay. All right.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Ed, it's honorable.
What is the total amount of legal expenses that you have used to basically, to make this action? What's the amount?
For 15 Multonville?
Yeah, for the whole.
15
at the end,
Multonville
since
is
we're-
well beyond $10,000. It's probably,
If I had to ballpark it from memory, I mean,
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
have, but yeah.
Probably.
I don't have it in front of me, but if I had to ballpark.
It's over 10,000.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely is.
We're all based on all the frivolous motions.
I
that
just
were
wanted that
filed.
in the record.
Yep, no, that's a great question. Waste of taxpayer money.
And how, like, if the motions weren't there, you probably have some court process or some lawyer fees anyway, but.
Only for this. We
Yeah.
wouldn't have had all the other motions that we had, that the attorney had to answer that were frivolous and baseless. Yep.
Just one last thing.
Sure.
There is, if somebody keeps filing with the court over and over and over again, they can be deemed a vexatious litigant and it can be stopped. So there are methods. to
Yeah, the town can
prevent
countersue to recover funds. Yeah, correct. Good way, yep.
But the word vexatious litigant is used.
Yep.
I'm gonna research that.
Vexatious.
Okay, I'm gonna close the hearing. I'm gonna make a motion to authorize the town attorney to pursue RSA 547-3D under the side prey doctrine.
Second.
Any more discussion?
No, thank you.
All those in favor? Aye. I make a motion to adjourn the public hearing. All those in favor? Aye.
458.
Time for the next.
I had to keep my mouth shut about the town wasting $10,000. That's not gonna do it. It's like that.
Just be glad it's only 10,000.
Oh, you guys had 150 on that sign up north?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I can get that.